It is 10 o'clock in the morning here on Thursday, June 12th, 2025. And it just stopped raining. It's been raining all night long. Over yesterday and today, we got 4.5 inches of rain. The whole field's a marsh now. 4 inches is a little bit too much for my field to absorb within a few hours. And besides, I think the ground was already pretty much stock full of water. So anyway, no new calves. Excuse me, no new calves since that one that 10 gave me. So 10's a champ. Last year she had retained placenta, so I had to take her to the vet and they pulled it out and cleaned it out. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's a fairly rare occurrence. It doesn't seem to be genetic. It might be related to nutrition, so there might be something lacking. There's not a lot of sure facts about it, but they know that cows that have retained placenta do just fine. It's not a reason to take them to the sale barn. But what retained placenta is the placenta doesn't come out. So if you, my recommendation is if you get out here and the calf's been born a day or two ago and the placenta is still inside the womb there or hanging out, just take the animal to the vet as soon as you can. And the vet, what he'll do is he'll go in there, he'll pull it out carefully. Obviously, there's a chance of complications, and then take care of the bad stuff that might happen. In my case, they put in I think it's an iodine bolus, which is just like a big pill of iodine. I think you put several in there just to keep that area cleaned out so it won't get infected. I did take a little longer to take her to the vet than I should have. I think I waited 3 or 4 days instead of going right away. So it started to smell bad. But number 10 was a trooper. The calf was just fine. This year's calf looks like he's just fine. So I don't have any complaints. And yeah, so 4.5 inches of rain. That's nothing to sneeze at. Let me just take you through the pasture here. Just kind of, one of the concerns I have when it rains this much is if the field's going to turn to a big mud bowl. And if you notice, it is not a mud bowl. I'm going to go check by the water, which tends to be where they aggregate and congregate, right? But the reason why it's not turning into a mud bowl is because the grass was plenty tall to start with. And I'm not letting them eat the grass to the ground. I keep moving them to fresh grass. So there's no incentive for them to go back and graze twice, especially where they already dropped their manure. So yeah, it's just wet grass. It's like a wet lawn. The ground is kind of firm. Some spots are very soft, but the ground is holding itself together. There's little baby grasshoppers. Somebody online was confused. They're like, why don't insects attack healthy plants? Or if a plant is healthy, why are my healthy plants being attacked by insects, I guess is a better question. So the issue is you're looking at your plants and they look green and tall and strong, but they're not. They're green and tall, but they're not strong. So fertilizers tend to accelerate what you might call the primary processes. That's generating the sugars, and as you might know, cellulose, which is what makes the plant strong in a physical sense. Cellulose, so there's no mud puddling here, is formed from those sugars and the chlorophyll and all that kind of stuff. So the plant looks green and it looks tall. The issue is there secondary processes that need to occur that aren't stimulated by fertilizer. And these processes don't make the plant greener, they don't make the plant taller, and they don't make your fruit bigger, right? What they do, however, is they add nutrition to the fruit and they increase the resistance of the plant to insects, okay? And there's a number of ways that plants do that. Some of them produce like a waxy coating, and some of them produce chemicals that are toxic to toxic to insects. Another thing to note too, and this kind of boggles people, insects cannot eat too much sugar. Their body just can't handle it. This is where bale of hay, I think, was 2 years ago. I just set it out and let the cows graze on it. So too much sugar for insects is death, right? So insects don't like to attack healthy plants. They don't like to attack things with lots of sugar in it, things with all those secondary products in it, because if they did, they'd die, right? So they attack dying or unhealthy plants. And so that's kind of the rule. I mean, if you saw a guy on the street covered on bugs, your first instinct wouldn't be like, oh, get those bugs off of him. Your first instinct is like, that guy's probably dead already, right? Or something's horribly wrong with him, because naturally his body would fight off those bugs, you know. And that's kind of the thinking that I have with plants as well. So when I see grasshoppers in my field, I don't reach for insecticide. I just let the grasshoppers do what they're going to do. I'm confident that the grasshoppers are going to attack the dead or dying plants, and there's plenty of it here. The spring grass, this cool season grass, is already dead and dying. The grasshoppers are going to excrete manure that's extremely healthy for the plants, and they're going to bring nature back into balance when things go out of whack, right? So I am not concerned about the grasshoppers. For reference, the first year I did this, we had tons of grasshoppers, and I just let them go. I remember my wife and my daughter would catch the grasshoppers to feed the chickens. They'd fill up pop bottles full of grasshoppers like in an hour, right? There was tons and tons, big ones too, right? The next year, there was a lot fewer. And the next year, fewer still. I think it was 2 years ago that I noticed that there was a really strong patch of Bermuda grass, and there were no grasshoppers there. There was no weeds, there was no grasshoppers. And the Bermuda grass was like 2 or 3 feet deep and thick, right? From a distance, it looked like, regular Bermuda grass, like, maybe half a foot deep, 6 inches, maybe 12 inches, but it was a lot deeper than that. So, and then last year, we had barely any grasshoppers, right? I think I saw some, but not many. This year is looking the same as last year. So that's my thought on insects. And those are two things that are counterintuitive, right? So one way to get rid of insects is to go through and find all the insects and all the baby insects and all the eggs and destroy them. The other way is just to make life very difficult for them by having healthy plants and not using fertilizer. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. Have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.